What's up, what's up, what's up? So listen, we had a lot of information. A lot of information was given to you today, and I wanted to get back on here to make sure that you understood it. And for third period, I wanted to reteach the lesson for you, because you always get the very first, which is never the best, and so I apologize, but I will always follow up with a video if that helps and makes the most sense. I want to let you guys know that you will have a quiz on this information, because you should be taking notes on this, and you will have a quiz on 11 by Sandra Cisneros. So I hope that you're paying attention. Okay. First and foremost, there are six. Wait, no. There are five Common Core State Standards subject groups. Now listen, in your Springboard book, you can find, and this is why I love Springboard, you can find the Common Core State Standards for English Language Arts and English Language Development, my ELD kiddos, in the front of the book. They begin on page 14 in Roman numerals. That's XIV. XIV. Okay? That's where they begin. Okay. Now, how do I read the Common Core State Standards? Because what's going to happen, because you get graded on your mastery of the standards, right? And I'll continue to give you that practice over and over and over and over again, because you may master it today, but tomorrow you may have forgotten it. So we're going to test you on it again tomorrow, and I'm gonna drill these into your practice, right? Because we care about the process and not the end result, right? But how do we read the Common Core State Standards? This is how we read it. So the Common Core State Standards are based on a couple of categories, right? So the first category is RL, which is reading literature. RI, which is reading information. That's reading an informational text. W, which is writing. Now listen, I'm going to also add to W, language. So L, which language. And let's go back up here. SL, which equals speaking and listening. Oh, Jesus, be offense. Okay, speaking and listening, okay? And the way in which our standards are set up is as follows, okay? Category. I think that's how you spell category. Don't get me to lying. Child, don't get me to lying. Not it being the end of the school day. That's how you spell category. I don't know why I'm checking it, because I don't want to be wrong. Because not me being right. Categorical. Right. Category. Not me being online. Lying. Okay. Mr. Jerry, you an English teacher? Absolutely, friend. So category, dot, grade band. Now listen, I'm gonna put, that's that's two words, but this is a symbol that I'm using, and I'm using it specifically. Grade band, period, just like I'm using these specifically. Standard, and then substandard. Okay? I can't grade you on these things if you don't know how to You don't know everything there is to know about the Common Core State Standards. Now listen, I'm not going to teach you everything there is to know about the Common Core State Standards. We're not going to build context or anything. Just know that the state of California and a lot of states in the United States of America, they came together and they said, this is across the board what everyone should know, right? California has adopted those standards, the Common Core standards, and they've tweaked them for what we believe should be the benchmark for all of our students that are educated in the California public education school system. So that's the context. It's probably more information than you wanted to know, but listen, just know that you know it now. Now, how do we read this? Okay, this isn't how the standards are displayed. Okay, that's not how that works. Here's how the standards are displayed. Category. Let's take SL, right? Category SL dot grade band. Now, the reason I have that here is because there are two grade bands for the Common Core State Standards for for high school, because I think middle school is also secondary ed, but for high school, okay? There is 9th and 10th grade and 11th and 12th grade. So the standards that you work on in 9th grade, you'll also work on those standards in the 10th grade, and they will be reinforced in the 10th grade, right? So this is a 9th grade class. So SL dot grade band 9-10 dot, and then the standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. A lot of categories, they skip some numbers, right? But it's usually 1 through 10. So let's say 1. Now, substandard is a thing. So if there was speaking and listening standard 9-10.1, A, I don't think there is an A for speaking and listening 1, but if there is an A, as in like a substandard, we would put it not in, oh, there is. How you doing? We wouldn't put it in parentheses. I just put it in parentheses here, so you could understand that that's separate from this. So 1A. And what you would do, because I'm going to put the standard on the board, this is what we're going to be working out of. What you're going to do is you're going to go look for this standard in the front of your book. What does that standard say that I can do? Okay. And for this standard, this is the standard. This is how it's written. Come to discussions prepared. Right. Having read and researched material. Look at the material. Right. Not me being a millennial. All my millennial parents, look at the material. What is that from? Having read and researched the material under study. Explicitly draw on that preparation that's why I didn't want to do that. Just pay attention. Write one word at a time. By referring to evidence from texts and other research on the topic or issue to stimulate thought or a thoughtful well-reasoned exchange of ideas. And do you know how I will assess that? Take a guess. That's exactly right, a quiz. Because do your work. Don't, like I said, do your work. Don't sit up here in my class not doing your work. It's real weird. I don't understand that behavior. So listen, we turn this, because this is a lot, but that's okay. We turn this into a statement of what I can do, what I will do, what I will be able to show by the end of the class period or by the end of the lesson, right? Does that make sense? So by the end of the class period or by the end of the lesson, what will I be able to do? And to do something is a verb, right? It's an action word. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is when I read, which is an action word, right? When I read this standard, I'm going to extract or to pull out the verbs, the action words, because those are all the things that it says that I should be able to do. Or those are all the things that I should be able to do. Does that make sense? So, okay, so come to discussions prepared. Having read and researched material under study. Come to discussions prepared. The verb is to come, for sure, right? But is that the verb that we care about in this sentence? And is this word in like verb format, right? Does that make sense? Or like, is it clear that that's the verb that we're looking at? Maybe not, but like it is indeed the verb that we should be talking about, which is prepared. You're exactly right. So prepared, to prepare, right? That's a verb. Having read and researched, are those the verbs that we should be considering? So we're going to go home and we're going to read, we're going to research, and maybe not like do research online, but definitely maybe some, if I put something online, some background information, right, some context, if I put that and provide that on there for you, maybe that's you reading it. Maybe researching is looking a little like, hey, I'm gonna ask a few questions here and there about the material. Maybe that's researching, and I'm gonna answer those questions about that. And I'm going to answer those questions, right? So having read and researched material under study, right? And then explicitly draw on that preparation by referring to evidence from texts and other research on the topic or issue to stimulate a thoughtful, well-reasoned exchange of ideas. What are the verbs? That's right. To draw on, to explicitly draw on the preparation. So to draw on means to look at, to use, right? To show that you did this thing by way of demonstrating, right? demonstrating preparation by referring to evidence. Evidence from the text. I know, like, I did this work. Now listen, whatever. I was going to say something, but I don't know that I want to say it. And I hate when people do that, so I'm just going to say it. The work that I put online was not terribly difficult, especially because a lot of those questions were found, the answers to those questions could be found online. I want you to know that you can have an answer to my question, but if you can't back it up, you don't have an answer to my question, because my question is the introduction to our understanding. It's the introduction to our conversation, right? If you can't go back and forth with me and have a well-reasoned exchange of ideas, you haven't met the standard. You have not met the standard. But I did the work, sure. But what does the standard say that we should be able to do? We should first come prepared to class, right? And how do we come prepared to class? By having read and researched the material. And how do I show that I've read and researched the material? How do I show that I am to class prepared, right? I show that by having a a well-reasoned exchange of ideas with a partner, with Mr. J. Does that make sense? With whoever. Does that make sense? Let's turn this into sort of an I can statement or I will statement, right? Let's make sure we hit all of our verbs, right? And we don't have to hit them as in like rewrite them per se, but we should definitely allude to them or reference them, right? So my interpretation of the standard is come to class, having done my homework, so that I can engage in a conversation with clarity and reason. I'll come to class having done my homework so that I can engage in a conversation with clarity and reason. That's literally what this says, right? Obviously, I'm taking a lot of liberties. I'm leaving a lot of words out, but that's what I understand it to mean. Right? So and I know that it's a conversation because this is a speaking and listening standard. If this was a writing standard, that wouldn't be a conversation, having a conversation about it, right? I will have come to class prepared, having done my homework so that I can write answers to Mr. J's questions or write a summary or whatever, write a paragraph, a well-reasoned, or write a paragraph with clarity and reason. If this were a writing standard, it's not. This is speaking and listening standard. I was just giving you an example. So just to recap on everything I just said, there are 5 categories for the Common Core State Standards. The first is reading for literature. Second, reading for information. Writing. Language is one, but I'm going to combine those two. And then speaking and listening. We read our standards as follows. Category.gradeband.standard substandard if one is necessary. It should look like this, SL 9-10.1A. And here is the standard. The way that I understand the standard is I go look for the verbs, right? The verbs, the verbs, the verbs, the verbs, the verbs. Verb, action word. For all of my millennial and older parents, verb, it's what you do. Do you remember those commercials? Your kids don't remember those commercials. You need to go on YouTube and find those commercials and show them. Because I want you to know that I will never forget what a verb is because of that commercial. What happened to the commercials that taught us something? Okay, mom and dad, I'm sorry. Now let your kid watch. Right? So I'm going to look for the verb or the action word, and then I'll rewrite it. This is my understanding. I know that this is what I need to do. And then you'll self-assess and all that other jazz. Did I do what I needed to do? Right? Or did I not do what I needed to do? Does that make sense? This is very basic. This is very simple. Come to class having prepared, having read and researched the material. So what is your homework tonight? To prepare for class tomorrow. Because you need to be able to engage in a well-reasoned exchange of ideas. It'll be speaking and listening, of course, but I'm also going to throw at you a quiz. Read Sandra Cisneros' 11. Take notes on this. Understand this. Understand all of these here and understand, I hate that my red isn't redding right now. So let me see if I can find another color marker. We already have green. Oh, let's do this pink. What is this color though? Right here. Ooh, I like the purple. All right, let's do the purple. So understand all of this. You'll need to know that. And listen, it's an open notes quiz, so you don't even need to know it. You just need to have it written down. It's an open notes quiz. It's an open notes quiz. So if you fail this open notes quiz, you didn't come to class prepared. Okay? So you need to know that. You need to know this. And I would understand it because the question might go something like this. Write out the longhand version of the Common Core State Standard. That's an ugly question. I don't like that. The question might go, write out it's going to go something like write out the long form version of the California State Standards. It's going to say something to that effect. I don't know. I need to think about it, but it's going to say something of that effect. And what I'm looking for, not me giving you a question, and if you get it wrong, you're weird because I just gave you the question and here's the answer. You need to write out category and spell it correctly because I will dock points. Category, great. And listen, sorry for whoever's on here. You shouldn't grade them on spelling because it doesn't matter. That's not what the standard says. Da, 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 da. There was a standard before they got to my class about their being able to spell. Get on somebody else's video, not mine. For my kids, we know how to spell in my class. And if we don't, we have a dictionary. I got them. Category, not me being upset with people. Dot grade band, and I need the dot in there. And I want the hyphen in between grade and band, so you know, right? Because this is 9, this is 10. Dot standard, in parentheses substandard. That's exactly what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. So when I say write the longhand version of the long form version of No, I'm gonna write the Common Core State Standards write out the order of, that's better, write out the order of the Common Core State Standard. That's a better question. Write out the order of the Common Core State Standard, and that's what that is, because not order of operations. I told you this is a math class. That's, moonlighting as an English class. Write out the operation, the standard, dang it, what did I just say? Write out the order of the Common Core State Standards, the order of the standard, okay? And the order is category dot grade dash band dot standard parentheses substandard. Go home tonight, write this in your notebook. You'll need to know this, right? You'll need to know this. Right? You'll need to know that. And then when I give you one of these standards, it's not going to be this one. When I give you one of these standards, I'm going to ask you, what are my verbs? What are the verbs? And then for extra credit, and no, I'm not going to give you extra credit. I'm lying to you. I'm not going to give you extra credit because I don't even do that, right? Remember, I really don't, because listen, you should know it. And if you don't want to know it, that's fine too. I don't get extra pay for being here. You know what I mean? So why would I give you extra credit for doing what you need to be doing? I don't get extra pay for doing my actual job, right? Now, if I do something extra, then cool, right? But you're going to have to do this. So, not a tangent. Remember 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's the highest grade you're going to be able to get. No attempt. Listen, and I'm going to put no honest attempt there because don't get crazy with me. Approaching, mastery, near, mastery, mastery, above, and beyond. I'm gonna tell you how to get a 4 because it's not extra credit. You'll get a 4 by rewriting the standard that I give you tomorrow. You get a 3 by knowing everything. You get a 2 by almost knowing everything. So if there are some words that are not spelled correctly, right? You get a 1 if you have things missing and you don't have words spelled correctly, by and large, right? Like a lot, right? Not by and large, a lot. And then no honest attempt if you just write whatever and you like annotate this thing however you want to annotate it, and you think that because you write something on a piece of paper, I'm going to give you points for that. I'm not going to do that. You will get no attempt. 0. And I don't care. Do you guys know that guy? Shakira, eres tú? He's so funny to me. He just is always like, that's me right now. Okay? And what should you know about 11? We should engage in an actual dialogue about 11. I need you to know the gist of the story. I need you to be able to recall information. And that's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to sit here and you're going to write about what 11 is about. Give me a summary of Sandra Cisneros' 11. If you did your work, if you have come to class prepared, you should know how to do that. I'm going to move so you can take a picture of this. Remember, everything in the purple is what I'm looking for exactly on the quiz tomorrow. Everything else is like what you should study. Please put this in your notes because I'm going to ask you information based on this, including this grading scale. Because I'm going to ask you to self-assess. I'm going to ask you what grade you deserve and why. Because if you can argue that, then you know what you're talking about. And if you know what you're talking about, I don't need to teach this anymore. I can move on, right? So I need your undivided attention. I need you to pay attention, and I need you to do this well. Run this back if you need to run it back. I know that this is very long, but like whatever it is, what it is. Okay? God bless you. I love you. I'll see you later.